Hey everybody, it's Pax. Welcome back to the next scenario in the campaign play-along for Path to Carcosa, Scenario 2, The Last King. Ursula and Leo Anderson will be continuing on after they successfully chased the stranger out, tried to alert the police, didn't get anywhere with that. And let's go ahead and check out the deck building. For Ursula, I'm going pretty simple here. I'm going with 2 perceptions and upgrading 2 wit and greens. These will help with a couple of the parlay tests, help us intellect tests in general, speed me up going through my deck. And where I haven't identified my tome yet, wit and green's probably going to be pretty reliably giving me my bonuses for this scenario, which is where I need them. So we'll shuffle her away, and then we'll go take a look at Leo. Leo's pretty similar, upgrading 2 beat cops into beat cop level 2, but over here we're upgrading 2 Mausers into the upgraded Mauser. I really like the upgraded Mauser. The reduced play cost is very nice. The bonus to hit is very nice. And the really rare succeeding by 2 getting to ready it and, succeeding by 4 getting to ready it and gaining a resource. Not super common, but against really wimpy enemies, it can happen. So that's what we're looking at over here. Taking a look what we got for our Mythos bag here. The skulls are revealing another token, and if we fail, we place a doom on a lunatic enemy in play. And the other thing is minus X. X is the shroud value of your location, which is currently at the starting location 2. If you're not familiar with the scenario, we've got our bystander assets that are going to be starting in play, and we've got to go grab clues off of them. And then, as the scenario progresses, we take a look at those scenario reference cards. And in Tabletop Simulator, our amazing members of the community have this nice setup button, so let's take a look and see what happens. Cool. I assume that that's set up. Hey, look. Nice and set up. Great. We're starting off with a 3 doom threshold, and, of course, discovering the truth. Forced, when an investigator is eliminated, place each of that investigator's clues on this act instead of placing them at his or her location. Find as many clues as you can, and then get out of this awful place. Give a go at our opening hand for Ursula over here. Not bad. And we'll take a look at Leo's opening hand. 5 cards for him. A beat cop, a watch this, a vicious blow, a stand together, and an overpower. Once again, no weapons. That's my fault for not, I guess, upgrading the weapon density in the deck. And I think what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to aggressively mulligan away a lot of stuff here, specifically these skills, because I don't really need them for the tough enemies yet. We're going to see if we can get something else. Hey, we'll take the 45. That's good enough. A little pricey, but it's good enough. Alright, so taking a look at the board here, we've got Sebastian on this side with his willpower test, and we've got Constance over here with her intellect test. And that makes me very tempted to split up, have Leo head over here for some willpower tests, because he can kind of just take those at -1. And Ursula taking intellect tests. Now, that does set them 2 locations apart, which is a little scary for how little combat availability she has, but she does have her agility, so let's start with Ursula and see how much progress we can get over here, and then we'll consider whether we want to do that with Leo or not. Actually, on second thought, let's go with Leo first so we can get the stand together out of the way. So, stand together, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then we'll go ahead and 1, 2, 3, 4, play a 45 automatic, and then we'll head up to Sebastian Moreau. Let's just do it. I don't remember what these locations do, so let's see what's at the living room again. After you perform a parlay action in the living room, draw a card. Oh, great. I forgot that's what that is. Ooh, that's excellent. That'll be really good for him to sit around trying. Even if he does fail, it's a draw action. That's nice. I like that. Okay, so that being the case, let's go ahead and give Ursula a go. So she's going to head up over to Constance Dumaine, and she's going to land at the ballroom. After you perform a parlay action in the ballroom, gain 2 resources. Oh, great. So she's going to be plenty rich. Okay. So now we're going to go ahead and see what we can do for parlays. So 3 difficulty parlay. We're sitting at 4 right now. So we're going to do a parlay. We're going to commit a single perception. That will be 7 against 3. That is reveal another token, and if you fail, place a doom on a lunatic enemy. And a -2. Great. So that means we were at 7, we're at 5 against 3, so we get to draw 2 cards, and we get to take a clue from her. So 2 cards and a clue. Not bad. We'll take that result. But what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go 1, 2, 3 for a Disc of Insomnia, just in case an enemy pops up on her that we don't want to deal with this turn. Alright, so that's the end of the first investigator phase. Let's do our upkeep on both of our investigators. Get our first Doom here. Occurs to me I haven't shuffled the encounter deck. And let's take a look at our first encounter card. Get the Roach Swarm, which is exactly what I was worried about. He's going to have a fight of 4 if we let him spawn, but let's not do that. Let's not let him spawn. Well, he does spawn, but he gets dealt 2 damage. And then over here on Leo, we get Fine Dining. You must either place one of your clues in a bystander asset in play, or take 1 horror and 1 damage. Well, looks like we're taking a bit of lumps here. But that's okay. That's perfectly fine for Leo to get, of all people. So I'm going to carry on with Ursula. We're going to do another parlay with a perception committed to it. It'll be 7 against 3 again. Same deal. Minus 4. So we do pass because we were 7 against 3, but we only get 1 card draw out of it. So we get 1 card draw, which is a logical reasoning. Oh, that's nice. I'll be able to head over and help him out with these if I really need to. Okay, so that's good. We're going to go ahead and play the Celano Fragments, and then we're going to do another parlay 5 against 3, and hope that 2-up is good enough. I don't want to commit anything because then I'd lose the one I just got from playing that, but if it doesn't work next turn I can try to commit something on top of it. And a +1, so we get it. Great. And when the last clue is removed from Constance, we flip her over and resolve its text. Doesn't take long for the amiable hostess to open up to you both to play. Sebastian produced the whole thing. She was a little hesitant. Dr. Nigel Engram, yada yada yada. The King in Yellow would be the most successful performance in Arkham history. Remember that you interviewed Constance. Flip this card back over to its bystander asset side. Okay, so over for Leo, we're going to go ahead and use his start of turn trigger 1, 2, 3 for a beat cop. So now we're plenty set up to be doing some fighting. We're going to go ahead and then first action attempt the parlay, which is 4 against 3. -2, so we fail, but we do get the card draw from attempting a parlay. Whoops. It's a guard dog. And then we're just going to take a little bit of time to draw some more cards up. So 1 more card. Ooh, you know what? Now that I have a glory in hand, rather than drawing a card, I'm going to take a resource. Because I can turn that resource into more cards if enemies start popping out. But also, I do have stuff that costs resources as well, and I have Watch This, which lets me multiply my resources. Good reason to have more resources. Okay, so that's our upkeep. And upkeep. Got perfect. Get 2 out of 3 Doom. And then our next encounter card, which is Fine Dining. You must either place one of your clues in a bystander asset in play, or take 1 horror and 1 damage. Well, she does have a lot of soak in her deck. I'm going to go ahead and risk the damage for now. It's pretty freely paid right now, given how early we are into it. And then again with Leo, Ancient Evils. Bummer. Which places a Doom and then causes the agenda to advance. If it isn't our final guest, the doorman announces, find this bystander asset with a fewest clues on it, spawn the set-aside Diane Divine enemy at that asset's location. Shuffle the encounter discard pile into the encounter deck. That's a bummer about the Ancient Evils. Well, at the very least, she does get to spawn with Constance here, so we get 1 turn of... At the very least, she spawns with Constance, so we don't have to deal with her for a little bit. But I think we're going to go beeline it to Sebastian and try to help Leo get his clues. Also, just occurs to me, I've missed a couple of resources when I was doing this. I believe I should have 4 more resources. I think it was 2 parlay. It's group once per phase, and I did it across 2 rounds. So I'll just quietly take those and we'll pretend that that never happened. But more to the point of actually performing the turn, what we're going to do is we're going to go catch up with Leo. So she's going to move back to the foyer rather than heading through the courtyard because she gets to use her investigate action at the foyer. We'll be testing 5 because of the cards in hand against 2, which is the shroud value. So that's a move, investigate, 3 up, -2. That gets us a clue. And then we'll scoot up one to get with our boy Leo here. And then we're going to go ahead and play this Archaic Glyphs. I really want to get that solved for this scenario, and I think that with Leo having his beat comp and gun out right now, I can afford the slowing down a little bit. Okay, so Leo. He's going to go ahead and parlay Mr. Moreau once, putting a guts into it. That'll put him at 6 against 3. Could put the watch this and be 4 up and try to get that money. And I think what I'm actually going to do is put the watch this in. 1, 2, 3. And I'll just do this so I don't forget. We're also going to chuck in a Eureka from Ursula. Put that right there. And that'll put us at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 against 3. So that, so long as we don't pull an auto fail, watch this, we'll get to fire. Nice, 0. Perfect. So the investigator performing the skill test searches the top 3 cards of his or her deck for a card, draws it. So 1, 2, 3. I think we're going to go ahead and grab Mitch, because we're going to be able to get him into play alongside this beat cop. That'll be really nice, and we'll be able to get the guard dog out after that, and we'll be really set up for all the enemies that are going to be coming out. So there's one. Put those away. We'll take our 6 resources from watch this. Delete those, put that away. And we'll take 1 draw. Did I shuffle that? From Guts. It's Psychosis. Bummer. That's okay. Get our clue from Sebastian, and last but not least, the ability of the location, which is 1 more draw, which is a glory. Great. Now, rather than eating up all the cards in Ursula's hand, because I do have Celiano fragments, and I do need to pitch intellect icons to Archaic Glyphs to get it solved, I'm just going to take a couple of blank ones with Leo at 1 up. And I think 1 up is, like, fine. It's not great, but there's no lunatic enemies in play, so I can't actually place Doom right now, so the consequences of it are, like, the absolute lowest possible. So we'll just go ahead and try it out a couple times 1 up. So 1 up, nothing, 1 up. Got it, great. So just some housekeeping so I don't forget about it. She is aloof, which I knew, but I didn't really explicitly state it. Investigators at her location can't discover or take control of clues. Forced, which is right now, at the beginning of the enemy phase, find the bystander asset with the fewest clues on it. Move Diane Divine to that asset location if available. Now, we're not playing Return to, so it doesn't say with the fewest non-zero clue count, or whatever it says there, where she wouldn't be able to just camp on Constance until she flips. So, nothing's going to be happening with her right now. And so that means we're going to be doing Upkeep with Ursula, the Man in the Pallid Mask. Farthest from all investigators, which is going to be up here with Ishimaru. Perfect. And then Leo Anderson is getting his next copy of Lonnie. So we're flush with allies. Got all of our allies that we need. That's for sure. Alright, so we get 1 Doom on the agenda. And we'll take a look at our encounter cards. Dance of the Yellow King. If there are no lunatic enemies in play, this gains Surge. Alright, well, bye-bye. Roach Swarm. X the shroud value of the Roach Swarm's location. Well, that's okay. He'll be a 3 combat enemy. Let's take a look at Leo. We've got Ooze and Filth put into play next to the agenda deck. Each location gets +1 shroud. Oh, so he's got an extra attack. I'm going to actually huck this over with Ursula, so I don't forget about that when I go to fight him. Alright, so let's go ahead with Leo. He's going to use his ability to play Mitch Brown over here for 2 resources total. Giving me 1 extra ally slot, I guess. One of them is being used up for beat cop here. And then we're going to use the 45 automatic to try and take a shot into this Roach Swarm. I think we might need to engage him first. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and engage him first. It's a little bit slower, but it does make sure that I'm not going to be just shooting Ursula in the face where I'm only at 4, 5, 6 against 4 total. So 6 against 4. We'll take 1 shot with the 45. We might even commit. We're going to go ahead and commit a Lonnie to get 3 up on that. That's what we're going to do. -3. There you go. So it paid off. Glad we did that. He's toast. And then we're going to play Glory for 2 cards. No! You saw nothing. a 45 auto, and a flashlight. And you know what? After having seen those, we're going to go ahead and play another glory, and we're going to use this correctly by putting another guard dog and a 1-2 punch in hand. Okay, great. 1-2 punch might be useful for some of the boss enemies that come out that might need a bit more action-efficient shots than the 45 is going to give me. We really want to get this last clue off Sebastian before any more guys turn over, so we're going to go ahead and try that test again. Just 1 up. -4. Okay. And we're not going to trigger the reaction ability on the location. It is a reaction ability after all, and I kind of need Ursula to get the cards more than I need them, so we're going to go ahead and let her give an attempt and try and get that. Okay, so over to Ursula. She's going to... Let's think. Which of these do we need a bit less? I think the logical reasoning might be useful. Horror is abundant in Carcosa, and this is going to be gone, and I've already got my Celiano in place, so I don't really need the Arcane Enlightenment to make sure I have room for like my boost from Witten and all that stuff. I've already got that on lock if I need it, so let's go ahead and attempt the parlay. We're at 3, 4, 5, 6, I think. That seems fine. 6 is pretty good. That's this, right? So 6 against 3, pretty happy with that. Go ahead and see what we get. We get the -3. Perfect. So we get the clue off Sebastian here, and we'll just go ahead and resolve his text. You can tell Sebastian is a dramatic man from the way he speaks about tonight's production. This is the best show of the King of Yellow ever. We're going to show it to everyone, and everyone will not go crazy, because not going crazy is what the show does to people. Remember that you have interviewed Sebastian, and flip this card back over to its bystander asset side. And furthermore, we're going to get our Eureka draw. So 1, 2, 3... I think we're going to take Miss Witten, even though I'd love to get that double intellect icon. Actually, I don't need that, do I? No, I don't. Let's get Witten, for sure. And then we also get the reaction ability on the location. Whoops, what did I do putting those there? We also get the reaction from the location, which is going to get 1 more card. A Unexpected Courage. Okay, great, great. So I've got 2 actions left, and we're kind of in the tough spot now, I think, where we got to really consider who we're going to go for and what the likelihood of actually getting them is. So we've got Ashley Clark left, the double action parlay. There's no sense in starting her, I don't think, until I know who's going to be flipping, because being in the central location means that someone might just pop on me. Courtyard's a bit of a nasty location. I don't want to give that a go if I don't know what's going to work. Jordan Perry, if I have 10 or more resources, parlay, test 2 intellect. Now, Ursula has 10 resources, and she's got a pretty good intellect, so that's definitely doable. But again, I really don't want him to flip on me and be caught without Leo for a turn. And then last, there's Ishimaru, who is, if you have 6 or more cards in your hand, parlay test 4 willpower. Now that might be where I need Leo to help out a lot, because he'll be 2 up on that. That'll be pretty good. And we do also want to get the man in the pallet basket. It'd be nice to get him investigated once. So we're going to have a think about this. So there's a couple things gnawing at me. The first is that the likelihood of drawing an Ancient Evils isn't that low. There's 3 back in the deck. We could just advance this round. If we don't advance this round, I could probably get Jordan Perry before... probably get him with Ursula if I just walked up and did did his parlay. And I think that you're rewarded for taking risks in this scenario a bit. It would be a bummer for her to be up there alone with the guy that has like the most health, but Leo's 1 location away. So I think that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. So she's going to move up there, second action, revealing the gallery, which is a 1 shroud location. At the end of your turn, test 2 willpower. If you fail, place 1 of your clues on the gallery, which is a bit of a bummer, but you can kind of just come back and get them later if you have to drop a bunch of clues. And we're going to go ahead and get started on Jordan here. So we're going to move there, and then we're going to try the test there, which is going to be 4 against 2. -2, so that gets us 1 of his clues. Great. Now for the real tricky part, after we end our turn here, we have to do a 3 against 2 test to see if we drop a clue. -1. Perfect. So we don't. Oh, that's super fortunate. Okay, very happy about that. Diane's going to stay where she is, and then we're going to do our upkeep. A deduction. That'll be nice if we do end up dropping more of the clues off of Jordan, but I think we're going to be able to clear them off, so that'll be really good. And then over here on Leo, we get a Mauser. Perfect. That was really what I was hoping for. I like the 45, but having the Mauser is really nice. It's a little bit, a little bit higher combat boost. Is really useful. That being said, I think my money's going to be going towards a guard dog first. Okay, let's see what the damage is. We got one more Doom and encounter cards. Another Ooze and Filth, +1 Shroud. Oh no, that had what +1 Shroud. Oh, so I did fail that, so I did drop one of my clues. I forgot that Ooze and Filth was still in play when I did that test. Okay. Again, not the worst thing in the world, but, I did drop it. Okay, and then Leo. Ah, the Ancient Evils. You bastard. Alright. Okay, so that ticks over, and then, when this agenda would advance by reaching its Doom threshold, instead, remove all Doom in play, and randomly resolve one of the Sickening Reality cards underneath the scenario reference card. If there are no cards underneath the scenario reference card, advance to agenda 2B instead. So, let's take a look and see which one we get. I am going to randomize this and take the one from the bottom so it doesn't look like I know which one is the one that I've taken. So there's the random pile, and then the one from the bottom is Ashley Clark. Encore, encore, the crowd shouts as she turns into a weird skeleton lady. Each investigator at her location takes one horror. We move each clue from her to her location. That sucks. Flip this card to its enemy side and switch it with the bystander asset version of Ashley Clark, removing that version from the game. So here's the lead singer. Each investigator at her location does not draw cards during the upkeep phase, and victory 0. Hunter 254. So Leo's probably going to go just give her a go of his turn and see what happens. But I will say I'm pretty happy it wasn't Jordan. That would have been a little bit of a pain, because then I would have had to get all these clues off the location anyways. Like it just would have taken a while. So we're going to go ahead with Leo. He's going to move into a central location, and he reveals the Courtyard, which is a 5 shroud location. And when you enter it, you discard the top card of the encounter deck. If that card is an enemy, you draw it. So let's see how bad that screws us. Come on, big whammy. Nice. Marked by the sign is a nice thing to get rid of. That's a really nice one to get rid of. Great. Now Ashley's engaged with us, and we've got 2 actions to deal with her. I've got a couple of different options. I could go ahead and 1-2 punch her. That could deal 3 of the damage, and then I could shoot her once with the 45. I could shoot her twice with the 45 and use the beat cop once to finish her off. I think between all of those options, I like just shooting her twice with the 45 because I've got guns in hand. That's fine. I've got replacement. I don't have enough money to really just freely play a 1-2 punch and then also get a gun out later. So let's go ahead and take a shot. We're at 4, 5, 6 against 2. Nice solid 2 damage. And then we'll go again. -4. Another 2 damage. 1 damage on my beat comp. And she's toast up in the victory display. Enjoy the hex zone. And now, what I really want Ursula to be able to do is to get both of these clues off of Jordan and then run into the Courtyard, getting an investigate there as well. And what she can do later, pop in, grab it, pop out, not have to worry about this force stability. So let's go ahead and do that. She is testing 5 now against 2. Okay, reveal an extra token. 0, so that's one of them. And without going and grabbing it, I'll just do the next test as well. -1, so that's both of them. Perfect. Then we get to read Jordan's backside. Mr. Perry is indifferent to your questions at first, but grows more talkative as you expressed interest in money whatsoever. He says, I am a very fancy financier, and, I just want to talk about money and investments. I love money. Remember that you interviewed Jordan. Flip this card back over. Cool. So we've got him, her, and him. Jordan, Sebastian, and Constance. And like I said, last action, we're going to go ahead and move out of here with Ursula. Head down to the Courtyard, which is going to, after you enter it, discard the top card of the encounter deck. If that card is an enemy, draw it. Ooh, nice. Get rid of an Ancient Evils. Oh, baby. Those were super lucky. I am over the moon right now. That is excellent. Okay, and then she's going to go ahead and use her action to do an investigate. She's going to be testing against like 6. So I'm not sure if that's going to be worth it. Is that going to be worth it? Ooh, let's think. What could we get at? We could only be at 7 against 6, I think. And I've only got a single icon over here on Leo. So we're still going to do the investigate. I'm just not going to commit anything to it. There's no negative consequences if I fail at all. But I could, I could draw like my Elder Sign and get a free move out of it. So, what the heck? Why not? I don't. I still don't. But, it's worth trying. Okay, nothing happens in the enemy phase. Me doing that, getting a Cryptic Writings. That's good to see some icons, I guess. And then again over here for Leo, an Overpower. Now, do I have too many cards in hand? That's 4, 8. Yep, too many cards in hand. Hilariously, I think this Calling in Favors is kind of junk. I also think that maybe I'm going a little overboard on my unique allies. And I'm not going to be able to afford all of these allies, basically. The Flashlight, I think I want to keep as icons to hand to Ursula to get these clues off. Let's get rid of 1 Guard Dog. 1 Doom out of 3. And encounter cards. Tough Crowd. Each investigator must spend 1 additional action to parlay. Oh no, at the end of the round. Discard Tough Crowd. And then on Leo, we get Fine Dining. You must either place 1 of your clues on a bystander asset in play, or take a horror and a damage. Well, sorry, Mitchell boy. So we're going to go ahead with Leo first. We're going to play a Guard Dog from hand for -1 resource. We're going to play 2, 3 our Mauser. And then we are going to double action to take this Psychosis off. Actually, no, we're not going to do that. Because we're really good on health right now. And I might clear that later if I take a couple more direct horror. Or sorry, a couple direct damage. But I think I'm okay with that. We're going to scoot up to Ishimaru. Revealing the dining room. We're not going to be able to take a parlay with her this turn, but we'll be able to do it next turn, and we'll have 6 cards or more in our hand, so that'll be nice and safe. Ursula's going to take some time now to just draw some cards up and try and clear the courtyard so that she doesn't have to walk through it again and get clues from it. Or at least she wants to get this deduction off on it. So let's go ahead and take a card draw. Another deduction. Oh, wow. Now I want to get all 3 of those clues in 1 action, don't I? I'm going to go ahead and pay 4 for Witten. And then we're going to attempt to get all the clues off of this courtyard and try to not have to come back here. So, we're going to be investigating 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 against 5. That is clearing all of the shroud. +1. Okay, but we get all 3 clues off the location, putting us at a lot of clues gathered over here on Ursula. Get Upkeep for her. And we're going to get rid of this Tough Crowd. And then Upkeep for Leo. Another Calling in Favors. So I've got a couple of icons here that I can really afford to get rid of. 2 out of 3 Doom. And encounter cards. Ursula gets a Fine Dining. You must either place 1 of your clues on a bystander asset in play or take a horror and a damage. Well, fortunately we just played at Witten. We're going to go ahead and take a horror and a damage. And then on Leo, we get a Roach Swarm. Okay. I'm wondering if I'm supposed to have a direct damage from when Mitch took 1-1. I think I am. I'm just going to take that now. If I'm wrong, I'll correct it. So Leo's going to go ahead and blast this Roach Swarm once with this 45 here. Actually, let's blast him with the Mauser and exhaust it. So we'll be at 4, 5, 6, 7 against 2. -2. We succeed by 3, which is not enough to ready it and get it back, but he is defeated and we get a resource back. And then for our other 2 actions, we're going to go ahead and attempt parlaying Ishimaru twice. That's 4 against 2. Unsuccessful. 4 against 2. Unsuccessful. Bummer. But that's okay. We got stuff we can do. Let's move with Ursula up to the gallery, taking our investigate action. Testing 5 against 1. That's successful, so we get the clue off the gallery. And then we're going to take a move down to the living room. And then we're going to take a move down to the foyer. Reason being, I can just get this clue. And we're getting really close to just like clearing the last couple clues off. And I think I'm going to run the odds on Ishimaru not being the one to spawn. So we'll go ahead and do our upkeep with Ursula. A magnifying glass. It's going to be staying in hand, but we do have 3 cards that we can just solve the glyphs with whenever we need to. And then over here on Leo, we get another Bowser. That's good to see. Then we're going to get our third Doom, where we're going to get our next Sickening Reality. So once again, shuffling these up, and the bottom card is going to be Mr. Perry. Great. So he's pretty nasty. He's a 2/8/2 hunter, forced at the beginning of the enemy phase, heal the damage from Jordan Perry. So he almost necessarily takes 2 turns to kill. But he does have the split damage and horror, and that does mean we have plenty of time to try and get these clues off of Ishimaru, because he's going to go like, boom, and then we can have Ursula make him come through the center, and it's just a ton of time. It's tons of time. So we'll go ahead and get an encounter card for Ursula. That's the Dance of the Yellow King. If there are no lunatic enemies in play, otherwise test 3. If you fail, the nearest lunatic readies, moves until it reaches your location, engages you, and makes an immediate attack. Well, let's try not to fail that. We're getting +1 right now from Witten, so we're 4 against 3. Let's just toss in an Unexpected Courage to be 6 against 3 and call that good enough. That's 2. -2. So we do pass that. That's great. And Leo, we get the Young Psychopath. After she engages you, you must either take a horror or she gets +3 fight until the end of the investigation phase. Well, if I take a horror, I take a direct damage. Can I hit her through +3 fight? I could probably just kill her off with Guard Dog by taking a bunch of attacks of opportunity, but once again, Psychosis, not quite going to work. So we're going to go ahead and take a damage and a horror. So let's take a shot against her. We'll just use the 45 auto this time. It's 4, 5, 6 against 2. +1. Toast. And then we'll spend a little more time trying out the parlay here. 4 against 2. Successful. And 4 against 2. Successful. So on Ursula, what we're going to go ahead and do is first draw a card. Second, we're going to investigate the location, which is 4, 5. Actually, no, we're not going to investigate, because when I kite Jordan around, I'm going to be able to come back to the location, get my investigate off my move. So let's not do that right now. What instead we're going to do is we're going to use one of these to place a resource on the Archaic Glyphs, and we're going to discard another one of these to put a resource on the Archaic Glyphs. So that's mostly solved. I just need to put one more down, which is obviously going to be a magnifying glass, and that'll be good for the next scenario. Great. So Mr. Jordan Perry is going to hunt, and we're going to have him hunt towards Ursula because they're equidistant right now and he doesn't have prey. So he's going to move down to this location. We'll get our upkeeps. So 1, wit and green, nice. And 2. Let's see what of these we want to get rid of. I think that for now, the calling in favors are mostly not good icons for me. Flashlight's even worse icons, though. So let's get rid of that. Next, Doom, 1 out of 3. And counter cards. Another Young Psychopath, but over here on Ursula this time. So let's go ahead and think about that for a second. Well, Ursula's not fighting her this round, so she may as well get +3 fight. And then Leo Anderson gets a Maniac. After he engages you, take a damage and deal a damage to Maniac. Okay. 1 and... who do we put that on? I guess 1. Getting a little dicey here. Okay, let's start with Ursula, because if her turn doesn't go well, then Leo's going to need to beeline it to help her out. So let's go for an evade. We're going to be at 4 against 3. Let's go to 6 against 3 to evade him. -2. Okay, so that's successful. And then we're going to go ahead and move over here to the ballroom again. And last but not least, we're going to go ahead and use our magnifying glass to get this last resource icon our resource on the archaic glyphs, solving it, gaining 5 resources. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good God, we need a way to spend money. And we've translated the glyphs. Great. Be awesome for the next couple of scenarios to have those as spells, taking up a bit less hands. But I do have to figure out what I'm going to do for tomes and relics going forward. Now over here on Leo, we're going to go ahead and take a shot with the Mauser on this guy. We're going to be at 4, 5, 6, 7 against 3. -1. So that's 6 against 3. So we get to deal 2 damage to him. And we get 1 resource back. Then we're going to deal a damage to the Beat Cop, exhausting him to defeat the Maniac. Next, what we're going to do is try and finish off Ishimaru. So we're going to be doing a parlay for, let's go ahead and just commit this safeguard. It'd be 5 against 2. Oh, the auto-fail. Bummer. Alright, and then we'll attempt one more time. 4 against 2. Oh, please don't. Perfect. And that gets us our last clue off Ishimaru, and so we see, in speaking with Miss Ishimaru, we discover that she designed all the costumes worn in tonight's performance, save for one, the stranger character. She says, his mask is made of the weirdest shit I've ever seen in my life, and for some reason, whenever I look at him, I can't stop looking away. Remember that you've interviewed Haruko, flip this card back over. Alright, cool. So we got all of them except for Ashley. And that's pretty darn good. I'm really happy with that. So, I think we're going to go ahead and just attempt to get out and not do anything flashier than that. Jordan's going to be hunting after him, because his turn's done now. And we're also going to have Diane head over here with Sebastian, because just in case she has to drop clues for some reason on Constance or her location, I don't want her there. That would suck. So we get Upkeep on Ursula, a lab assistant, and Leo, a vicious blow, 2 out of 3 doom, and an encounter card. Corrosion, discard item assets from play and over your hand with a total printed resource cost of at least X, where X is the shroud value of your location. So I'm pretty sure I just lose the Ciliano fragments. And I have no other items. But a card was discarded by this effect, so it does not gain Surge. And over here on Leo, we get another Maniac. So he engages me, dealing me and him a damage. And I think that sets us up to be okay to just leave. Because what we can do on Leo is go move, move, resign. And what we can do with Ursula is move, investigate, taking an AO from the Young Psychopath, and then resign. And that even gives us freedom to take an extra investigate on Ursula if that fails. So I think Ursula goes first, because if I do Leo's first, then the Maniac sits there, and that's 2 AOs. So let's not do that. So Ursula is going to take a move action to the foyer, which is going to engage the Young Psychopath with her. And when she engages, she's going to get +3 fight until the end of the investigation phase. And then I'm going to use this to do an investigate, taking an attack of opportunity, so 1-1. We're investigating 4 against 2. Let's go 5 against 2, committing that. -1, that gets us the last clue of the game. And we're just going to go ahead and resign with Ursula. So that puts these 12 clues up on the act card, right here. And also shoves the Young Psychopath with her +3 fight value back to the foyer. So Leo is just going to do, like I said, move, move. He's going to attack me twice, so it's going to go 1, 1, 2, 2, and that's going to look like move, move. She's going to engage me, but when I'm there, I'm just going to resign. 3rd action. And that also puts Leo's clues up here, an extra 5. So if we just do a quick group, how many is that? We're looking at 17 clues. Find as many clues as you can, then get out of this awful place. And down here on the foyer, having found valuable information about the production, you depart, plan your next move. If each undefeated investigator is resigned, proceed to if no resolution was reached in the campaign guide. In your campaign log, under VIPs interviewed, record the name of each character you interviewed. So we didn't interview Ashley. And Ashley is also the only one slain. Each investigator earns victory value, which is of course 0 between all the locations and the fact that Ashley's in the victory display. And then for every 2 clues that were on the act, when the game ended, choose an investigator to earn 1 additional experience point. Experience from this reward must be divided as evenly among the investigators as possible. Like I said, that was 17 experience total. 17 clues total, so that's 16 divided by 2 is 8 each. And we proceed to interlude 1, Lunacy's reward. The investigators must decide. If these people are allowed to live, these horrors will only repeat themselves. We have to put an end to this. We have to kill them. Lunacy's reward number 3. We're burning that fucking house down because the lead singer of the band came and tried to eat us, right? And the financier who was talking about his money all the time, he was like, yeah, get in my belly. So, we're not having any of that. You dare not risk stepping back inside that madhouse. You set Mrs. Dumain's house alight. And, everyone just kind of dies. You did what had to be done, right? In your campaign log, record that you slayed the monsters at the dinner party. Mark 1 conviction in your campaign log. In your campaign log, under VIP slain, record the names of all 5 VIPs, if not already recorded there. Remove all tokens from the bag, and then add 2 cultist tokens to the chaos bag. The story continues in Scenario 3, Echoes of the Past. Thanks very much for watching, I really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in Echoes of the Past. I was pretty busy this week. One of my kids was sick. So I wasn't able to record this one ahead of time. It'll be up tomorrow morning, I guess, from when I'm recording it. The day that Echoes of the Past is supposed to be the one we're starting. So hopefully I can catch up next week. And also, if you're watching this and you also have watched my Alice series, that one also has gotten away from me. The finale is going to be going up shortly. I have not sat down to record it yet, but I'm going to have a lot more spare time next week. So I'm really hoping to get those recorded and done so that series is complete and I can just focus on the campaign play along until that's done. So anyways, little update there right at the end because most people click off the videos by now, judging by my analytics. So if you're still here, thanks again. Really appreciate it. If you're not watching my Alice, you should. And I'll see you guys next time.